What does every girl want for Valentine's Day? This. Doesn't matter if she rides BMX or not. Pfft, no, as long as you like BMX, every time she looks at it, she'll think of you. www.magnoliabmx.org. So today I'm going to show you some basic entry tricks when riding your bike. And I'm sorry guys, I'm going to be riding in my basement. I live in Canada, so you know, snow happens and it's wet and cold outside, so I'm gonna suck it up and ride in my basement today. I'm also going to be talking about Flatland bikes and bike parts, because a lot of people have been asking me questions about how do they pick out a Flatland bike, or what should they know when they're picking out a Flatland bike. So first things first, you want to wear the right shoes. I love Etnies. These are my shoes I ride in. Every time you see a picture of a girl online riding in sandals, I guarantee to you it's fake. Every time you see a picture online of a girl on a BMX wearing these, I guarantee to you it's fake. I think there's actually a couple pictures of me online riding in these shoes. I'm going to tell you what I like in shoes, but really everybody has their own preference. When you ride Flatland, this happens, and that's just not good. It's not good when your shoes talk. My shoe of choice is Etnies. I love the color, I love the style, but this specific Etnies, I really love the tread on the bottom of the shoe. You could take a look there. It gives me a lot of grip when I'm jumping around on my bike. I don't slip very often. It's also a very thick sole compared to some other shoes I've tried. Also, when you're picking out a shoe, a good way to know the quality of it is there will be stitching. A shoe that is glued is not going to hold together as much as a shoe that is stitched. These will last me about 3 months. Generally, what I tell people, and my personal advice, is just start out on any general freestyle BMX, and as you ride it, you'll learn more about what works for you and what works on your bike and what you like and don't like. And then you can start from there and purchase the parts that you want instead of spending all sorts of money onto a bike, and those parts may or may not work for you. So the lighter your bike is, the easier it is on you physically, and also you'll be able to roll faster on your bike. For myself, I choose to ride only front brakes simply because I do more front wheel tricks than I do back wheel tricks, and I found that my back brakes were just making my bike heavier than it needed to be, so I took them off. Generally, we ride with smaller sprockets. This is your sprocket right here. It's what your chain sits on around your crank. And the reason why we ride smaller sprockets, again, it gives us a lighter weight, but also it's out of our way. We have something called a free coaster. If you didn't have a free coaster on your bike, every time your bike would roll backwards, this would happen. See my pedals moving? But with a free coaster, I roll my bike back and my pedals don't move. A lot of riders also like to ride on skinny tires. Now for myself, I actually choose to ride on fatter tires. Reason being, I have very, very, very bad ankles. So having wider tires, it's heavier, but it just gives me a little bit more room. Another thing we do is keep our tires at 100 psi when we're pumping air into our tire. It makes it hard and full of air, and I don't really know why we do that, but everybody does it, so you do it too. The cleaner your rims and brake pads are, the less you're going to slip and fall. Use Windex and a rag and just keep the rims of your bike clean, and also underneath the pad if you want to take it a step further. I rotate my tires regularly just because the grip on your tire tends to wear down. And also, you want to change your brake cable regularly if you're running brakes. I would say once a year, because if you don't change your brake cable, they snap, and that has happened twice to me while I was riding. And when your brake cable snaps, you fall on your face and it hurts. That's basically it when it comes to Flatland related bike parts that I'm going to share with you about. I mean, there's probably a million little details about a Flatland bike, but really it comes down to preference. So get a bike, find out what you like, find out what you don't like, and go from there. It's a learning experience, trial and error. Flatland is just like life. It's about progression, it's about learning, it's about determination and commitment. If you are willing to follow through, you will get there, and the sky's the limit. Story time! So a long time ago when I was just getting into Flatland, I didn't even have a Flatland bike yet. I had first met Chris Pergental and was going to meet him and his brother in a parking lot at Bethel, for all of those of you who used to come to Ham Jam a long time ago. What? I didn't know these guys, and the very first thing that they had me do was to stand still with my feet together and close my eyes. I trusted these guys. I didn't know what was going on, so I was like, sure, cool thing, dude. One of them came up behind my back and pushed me directly onto my face. I knew at that moment it was love. Basically, they did that to see which foot I was going to use to catch myself when I was falling. And whatever foot you use to catch yourself is your foot you're going to use for scuffing and kicking your tire when you're riding your bike. So I'm going to go downstairs right now and show you some basic entry tricks. I really hope you found this helpful. I will see you next week in Toronto. You don't want to miss it. I'm not trying to hype it up too much, but it's going to be epic. Cool beans! Endo. Try scuffing it, and that's a squeaker. Entrance into a fork glide. Side squeak entry. Half tail whip. Half lash. So when I'm doing my half tail whip entry, I'm using my brake to help whip my tail around on my bike. When I'm doing a half lash, I do not use my brake at all. Instead, I'm using my weight by stepping forwards onto my bike and swinging my back end around. Just think of it as though you're walking up the stairs. Put your foot up and lift your weight right above yourself. And don't get discouraged when it takes a long time and you're not pulling it. I guarantee to you, however long it takes you, it took me longer.